Thursday, March 27th, 2025, meeting of the Walnut Creek Planning Commission. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Kwok,
Here.
Commissioner Ward,
Here.
Commissioner Klopp,
Here.
Commissioner Neating,
Here.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Here.
and Chair Strongman.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to the consent calendar. It's my understanding we have nothing on the consent calendar. Correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Moving on to public communications, this is an opportunity for the public to make any comments towards us they would like on any subject. But if you're here to talk about pickleball, this is not your time. You will have an opportunity when we get to the official hearing. But if you have any other comments you would like to make to us, please come to the podium and make them. Seeing nobody rushing to the podium, we will close public communications and move on to disclosure of ex parte communications with the commission.
Hi, Commissioner Strongman. I'd like to disclose that I am a Rossmore resident. I do not live within 1,000 feet of this planned development. I have received multiple communications via the paper and from neighbors. I've stayed firmly neutral on the topic, so I just want to disclose that. Thank you.
Thank you. And that I.
We'll work with our tech support, okay?
Moving on to public hearings. Okay, hopefully, we are ready to proceed with public hearings, and the project will be the Rossmore Pickleball Courts, 4A. And we'll start with a staff presentation.
Just so everyone understands, it's the rendering for the pickleball courts. I'm going to face it. The commission. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'm going to speak louder than usual. So good evening, Chair, Planning Commissioners. My name is Gerardo Victoria, Assistant Planner with the Community Development Department. The project before you today is the Rossmore Pickleball Courts. Just some site context. The project is located at 1021 Stanley Dollar Drive. This is Stanley Dollar Drive right here, and this is Rossmore Parkway. It's a 2.4 acre site. The general plan designation is single family medium. The zoning is Plan Development 1483. The permitted uses at the plan development are residential, clubhouse uses, and open space. The pickleball facility is an accessory use to the existing clubhouse. This star right here indicates where the pickleball facility is going to be located. As you can see, the nearest residential area is a little bit over 300 feet away. The existing site is made up of the Stanley Dollar Clubhouse located here and the parking lot, which is adjacent to the event center here and the golf course. This is the permitted land use for Rossmore, which was completed in 1977. As you can see here, the shaded areas are the residential permitted land uses. The clubhouse areas are noted here with the capital C's. This star indicates where the pickleball court is going to be located, and the open space areas with the squiggly lines are notated here. So, under the Plan Development 1483, the clubhouse facilities are permitted However, open space may be used for additional clubhouse facilities. As I stated in the previous slide, the pickleball court is an accessory use to the existing clubhouse facility. The project description is the construction of a 12,000 square foot, 6-court pickleball facility that is adjacent to the existing event center. So as you can see here, this is the pickleball facility, which is going to be adjacent to the existing events clubhouse right here. I will say clubhouse, event center, back and forth. I just get them confused, but they're the same thing, just so everybody understands. The project also includes new landscaping, new lighting, new trees, and tree removals. Noise levels near the residential properties are within the acceptable limits as defined by the general plan. So these are some of the renderings proposed for the pickleball facility. This is the front facade that's facing the east. And this is the side facade facing the golf course. And this is the west facade that's facing the nearest residential area. So we are here before you tonight for your consideration for the project on the design review, the tree removal permits, and the tree drip line encroachment permits. This project did go to the Design Review Commission on December 4th as a study session for their recommendations. And as I stated, it's for your consideration tonight. So the site layout is the existing events clubhouse is located here, which is about 20,000 square feet. The proposed 12,000 pickleball facility is located right here. This line right here is the new acre site, the 2.4 acre site that's outlined. There are 144 existing parking stalls. No new parking stalls are required for the project, and the site also has 6 new bicycle parking stalls. So the pickleball court design, I'm just going to go over a couple of major design components of the project. The standing seam metal roof and wall is located here on the front facade. And here, this is the rear facade facing west. So this facade is completely enclosed and it is the nearest to the residential area. Red cedar wood siding is located on the front facade right here at the entry canopy, and also here at the side facades here and here. Stucco sand finish is located here and also here. So landscaping. There is 5,324 square feet of new landscaping that also includes 2 new bioretention areas here and here. There are 14 new trees to be planted, 6 which are valley oaks here and this one. Larger shrubs are proposed along the south, west, and north side of the surrounding facility. So on the site, there are 20 existing trees on the site. 8 are proposed to be removed, which are all in red. 2 of the 8 are highly protected trees in Walnut Creek, which are valley oaks. The other ones that have the stars these are coast live oaks. They are remaining on the site, and these valley oaks are also remaining. As you can see also on the plan set, the tree protection zones are outlined here, here, and over here. So when this project went to the Design Review Commission, the Design Review Commission made some recommendations. The first one was that the 2 buildings need to speak to each other, not to match, but consider adding more wood to the front of the pickleball building and the side facing Stanley Dollar Drive. So the pitched roof is similar to the existing event center. The material palette speaks to the event center. The stucco color and finish and the standing seam metal roof match the finish of the event center. And the wood that's incorporated on the front facade also matches the event center. The second one was to conduct an acoustic report before and after the pickleball courts are built to validate the use of sound panels and implement any necessary measures. So an extensive noise study has been conducted. Measures in the noise study are incorporated in the project design. The Golden Rain Foundation is confident that noise issues have been addressed in the design and the operations of the building. The Golden Rain Foundation will also address any future issues with residents if or when they occur. They also recommended for more trees and shrubs to be woven into the site. As I stated on the earlier slide, larger screening shrubs are proposed along the west, north, and south of the pickleball facility. And also reconsider the planting of 3 Red Point maple trees and reevaluate the relocation of the existing valley oak. So Red Point maple trees have been replaced with Chinese pistache trees. The existing valley oak that was proposed to be relocated will now be removed and replaced with another valley oak. So, CEQA, the project anticipates the use of the categorical exemption class 32 as outlined in the draft resolution. The project is consistent with the general plan designation and all general plan policies, as well as the zoning designation and the regulations in the zoning code. The proposed development occurs within city limits on a project site of no more than 5 acres. The project site is 2.4 acres. The project site has no value as a habitat for endangered, rare, or threatened species. The approval of the project will not result in any significant effects relating to traffic, noise, air quality, or water quality. And the site can be adequately served by all required utilities and public services. So, staff recommends to adopt draft resolution approving the CEQA determination, approving the design review, and approving the tree removal and tree drip line encroachment permits. But before we get to questions or comments, I would like to add a couple of things. So staff was overwhelmed with the amount of correspondence received. We received over 100 emails. Of those over 100 emails, 80% were in support of the project. We received 2 petitions. The first petition was in support of this project, and that received over 400 signatures. The second petition was opposed to this project, and that received over 200 signatures. I do want to address the noise in the general plan. So as you know, the general plan designates noise as unwanted sound. Normally, acceptable noise levels in a residential area is 60 decibels. According to the noise study submitted by the applicant, the nearest residential area, the NM5, is in compliance with the general plan. You can see here, it's here. This star is where the pickleball court is going to be located. The one area that's exceeding the noise level is the Stanley Dollar Clubhouse, which has different standards because it is not a residential area. Everything else is in compliance, as you see here. If what's acceptable is 60 decibels, everything is below 60 decibels. So with that, I am available for questions or any comments.
Thank you. We will start with questions from the commission to our staff person. Who'd like to go first?
The applicant is also here, ready with a presentation.
Any questions? Okay, I have a couple questions since nobody else wants to do it. I have never done pickleball. I have never actually seen pickleball. My understanding is that the ball is what, as a kid, we used to call a foosball. Wiffle ball, excuse me. I guess memory's losing it here. Is that true?
Yes, it is a wiffle ball.
Okay. What was there before this location?
I will let the applicant answer that.
Okay.
I believe it's just an open area that's next to the golf course.
And that is, that's all my questions. Anybody else have questions? Okay, we will now ask for the open to a public hearing, and we'll start out with the applicant first.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Matheson. I'm the general manager for Rossmore Walnut Creek, and I'd like to introduce you to Rossmore. This is a community that travels. It's funny, we had a board meeting this morning, and I think we had 2 people in the audience, so this is good. This is very good. You know, Rossmore is an active senior adult community. It is built on a foundation of activity, programs, services, amenities for the residents. Rossmore has sports amenities, it has clubhouses, it has arts, it has performing arts, studios. You can be as busy as you want to be in Rossmore, and Molly, I'm sure you can attest. So one of the key amenities here that we are talking about tonight certainly is pickleball. And pickleball started in Rossmore about 2015. At that time, we had an old clubhouse gymnasium called Del Valle, and the gym part was empty as we were thinking about renovation. So we actually taped out.
Can you push a button? You just leaned against the wall there.
And the lights went out. We taped out 2 courts inside the gym and modified it a bit, and pickleball began. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew. Soon we definitely realized, and the board realized as the club began to grow, that pickleball was going to be part of our future at Rossmore, and we needed to address the situation in courts. The 2 courts at the fitness center were always meant to be shared use. We renovated the fitness center and had 2 courts there. But we needed outdoor courts, and we just didn't have that amenity. We had some old tennis courts that served the purpose, but that was always meant to be temporary. The GRF board, the Golden Rain Foundation board, actually authorized a project starting about 2019. And at that point, our plan was simply to renovate the Creekside tennis courts and expand those and make them outdoor courts, about 7 courts there. But unfortunately, that location is right next to Tice Creek, so we weren't able to do that. But throughout the process, we have been doing public engagement. And as you can see here tonight, public engagement is a huge portion of what takes place at Rossmore. This project is certainly no exception. As we have looked for a site, we have had numerous town hall events. We had one just last month, and we had about almost 450, 500 people come to listen to our presentation on pickleball. We've done neighborhood meetings for the residents that surround the site to come, and we talked about the sound study that we did. We have done presentations and ongoing updates at our planning committee meeting in Rossmore, and we use our Rossmore News to regularly provide updates. So there has been a lot of public input, communication, and things in Rossmore do take time because, as you can see, there is a lot of interest in what we do and a lot of public outreach. One of the things that was really important as we did outreach was to talk about site selection. And the board had many factors that they wanted to consider in site selection. As you know, Rossmore is very built out, if you will. There is very few places where you can put a new actual physical amenity. So as we looked for sites, we wanted to think about the impact that pickleball would have on existing uses. So we were looking at our tennis courts, and could we do a shared use at the tennis courts? We wanted to look at the cost for the site improvements. So if we had open space, what would it cost to bring utilities and other things there? Things like parking, available adjacent resources. Is it located next to a clubhouse where there's existing restrooms and other things that could be used and shared? The cost of shade structures and compatibility with neighboring uses. We definitely wanted to make sure it was a good neighbor, and next to, we took into consideration the neighbors that surround it. Some of the locations that we have already investigated includes Buckeye tennis courts. We have a complex with 8 courts of tennis, so we thought about a shared facility there. We did a sound study there. We did outreach with tennis club there. It just isn't a compatible use, and it was hard to contain the sound there because it's more in a valley. We looked at our hillside lawn bowling greens and converting one of those greens into a complex for pickleball. Again, adjacent uses just didn't match with pickleball. We have a couple of parks, one of them Dollar Park next to the Dollar Clubhouse, and that facility, that park, especially with the mature trees, it just didn't quite fit there. We looked at our mutual operations department where our corporation yard is, and it's just not a good compatible use with our corporation yard and our ability to operate the community from there. We have a property outside of Rossmore called, we call it the Medical Center, but it's at 1220 Rossmore Parkway. It is a property that's currently vacant, but we're looking to either repurpose it or sell it, and being outside is not a good value, not a good compatible use, and it's not a permitted use at that location. We even looked at a joint venture with the city to look at the park, Tice Valley Park, and maybe doing something there in a joint venture with the city. We looked at renting Tice Valley Gym. So we checked the box on every possible location we could, and we eventually found this little niche open space near the event center that bordered the golf club, the golf course, the 18th fairway, has open space there, has the parking lot, has access to restrooms, and is far enough away from residents that we could take care of the sound issues and make sure it was a good compatible use with the neighborhood. So now I'm going to introduce our architect, David Masseton. He is with ELS Architects, and he's going to go through the project site and design.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you to the Commission for hearing out this project. We're very excited about the opportunity here at Rossmore to build these 6 enclosed courts, or 6 covered courts. I want to introduce you briefly to the site. What you see on the screen in the hatched area in the top center is the proposed location for the pickleball center. And you can see that it is very closely tucked against the existing parking lot and against the event center. The reason we tucked it that way was so that we'd have the least possible impact on the fairway and the golf game, and that still allowed us some room to put some trees in between that and the golf course so that we could provide more shade, shadow, and preserve the overall aesthetic of the golf course. There was a question earlier about what does the site look like now? Well, right now it is essentially a clear grassy site with the trees that Gerardo mentioned earlier. It's relatively flat, but it does slope down towards the fairway. Here in this image, you can see the event center to the right and the parking lot that we're going to use directly in the foreground. And then as you move over to the left, you can see the hole for that particular, the green in the sand trap for that particular fairway with the pickleball site in the foreground and the event center to the right. And then here we're standing essentially on the site of where the pickleball facility will go. And you can see an existing bioswale and then Stanley Dollar Drive off in the distance adjacent to the event center. And then here is looking down the fairway at the event center, and you can see the sand trap to the associated hole and Stanley Dollar off in the distance. So when we took on this project, it was really important for us to make the pickleball facility secondary to the overall event center, but we wanted to marry it aesthetically to the event center so that it was really viewed as one larger clubhouse facility. So we used the exact same standing seam roof with the same color, so it will match the event center. We did give it a pitched roof. We could not pitch it at the same pitch as the event center without being taller than the event center. And it was important for us that this, again, be shorter than the event center. One of the challenges with pickleball is you need 20 feet clear from the ground to the underside of the structure for play. And then here on the south side, you can see a stucco wall. That stucco wall has the same color that matches the event center. The wood that you saw in the previous one, this one, the wood is also reminiscent of what's on the event center, which has a lot of wood detailing on the front, around the side. We're not using glass. We're using polycarbonate in case there are some errant slices on the golf course. And what you can see at the very top there is an opening that air can pass through. So there have been some questions for how exactly this particular design was developed. It was developed based upon the diagram that was provided to us from the sound study. The sound study indicated that we needed a wall on the south that was 18 feet tall. We needed a wall on the west that was fully enclosed. We needed a roof, and we needed a wall on the north that was 10 feet long, 30 feet long and 10 feet high. And so that diagram is what drove the design of this. We did not enclose it fully so that we can still have a breeze through there, so it is still an outdoor court, but it will reduce the overall sound impacts on the neighbors. And when you go inside, the pickleball project is essentially a very traditional butler frame type building. We have plenty of natural light that'll be coming in here. We also have artificial light for times like this year when it gets dark early. And we can fit 6 courts in total. And then off to the left, there is a very small seating area, which is intended for people that are about to play. And here you can see a section of the facility with the 3 courts across. And you can see the seating area just over to the left. And you can see the 20-foot high is held at the very sides, and then it slowly slopes up to the top. And that gives us the appropriate playing height for the sport. And here's the layout with the front door at the very bottom center, and with the bleachers on both sides for the seating for the next players that are in, and then the 6 courts, and then there's an egress door up in the corner, and it's open essentially on 2/3 of the right side of this, and the majority of the south side, and then on the east side, and then the south side, it has that little sliver at the top that remains open. So here you can see, and this is what this board is showing in front of you. So it calls out the materials in more specificity to show that they're designed to match the existing event center, and so that it should work harmoniously as a larger clubhouse facility. So occasionally, people ask about sound with pickleball, and we did want to address that. I think Gerardo did a really good job, but I wanted to touch on just a couple of things. So a number of sound studies were done. This was certainly not the first sound study. This was the one that we did based specifically on this design. We had it updated based on the design that you see. And what you're seeing here, as Gerardo mentioned, is there's exceedance at the Dollar Clubhouse. But notice that exceedance is 49.5. So it is actually just above the minimum recommended noise guideline. It does not exceed the maximum recommended noise guideline, which is 58.6. And so this average is probably around 50 decibels if you look at these across all of these sites. What does that actually mean? Well, 50 decibels is essentially a quiet office because sound dissipates over distance, and the design of the building has cut down the direct angles for the noise to escape and interfere with people's enjoyment in the residential units or around the area. And you can see here at the sound study on the chart on the left that the projected design for the pickleball noise level meets every single one of those criteria all the way down. So we feel that we are in full compliance. And with that, I will leave it for questions.
Thank you. First of all, we have questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Ward, start out.
I think my question's for the architect, so if you can come up. I just wondered what you would have had to do to make the facility completely enclosed. I know that was suggested by some.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So if it's completely enclosed, that is a full condition building. So we would enclose the sides. We would need to provide heating, ventilation, air conditioning with a lot of air turns because it is an exercise facility. And we'd also include restrooms because right now in this plan, the restrooms in the event center are being used. So this has a significant overall cost impact. I don't know what that impact is, but it's not a small thing to convert this from essentially a covered facility to an indoor facility.
Okay, Commissioner Hawk?
Hi, so I'd like to kind of get an idea of the impact of the noise. Reading through the public comments that were submitted on the agenda, a lot of the people from that play pickleball at Rossmore have mentioned that they play at the existing tennis courts. And so in the presentation tonight, some of the questions I had were, at the existing tennis courts, it seems like that wasn't a location that was considered, but have there been noise complaints from that location in the past that residents have expressed?
So currently, we have 3 pickleball courts located along Rossmore Parkway that are right across the street from residential. So they are in much closer proximity than this. However, they're separated by Rossmore Parkway. Since we've had those 3 courts there, I've received exactly 1 complaint in regards to noise from that. And we have no sound. There is obviously the street, there's some shrubbery, but there's no wall, there's no padding, nothing to obstruct sound. We have 8 tennis courts, we call it Buckeye Tennis Court Complex, and one of the things we were thinking of doing is converting 1 or 2 of those courts to pickleball. We actually did a sound study up there. In order to address the sound, to make it acceptable levels, it basically would have had to have been an enclosed building. And then we would have been addressing a lot more issues.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Yes, I have additional questions. So that's very helpful as a baseline. So for the sound studies that were done at the different locations, were they similar to the ones that was presented to us tonight for the facility right by the event center?
Yes, what we did, we used a company that came out, what's the name of that company? Acoustics Group, thank you. They came out, they used a number of sound monitors. We placed those out. They did readings for over a 24-hour period to get the ambient noise. Then we either had pickleball play, the same volume of play that would take place as if we had all courts in full operation, 4 players per, plus people around waiting to play, playing for a period of time to capture that, to see what the readings would be for comparison. For the site that we're here tonight talking about, they simulated that same level of sound with that noise.
Okay. And then my last question is, after we take action on this resolution before us tonight, does the community expect pickleball to continue at the other locations, courts, or wherever, or is it primarily going to be concentrated at the new facility?
So we don't have plans for repurposing the existing outdoor courts. Those were always meant to be temporary, but they are heavily impacted by the creek right now, so we have a lot of maintenance issues there. So I don't anticipate putting any more money into those. We also have 2 courts that are shared use inside the gymnasium, and those will remain as they are today.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Other questions? The applicant? Yeah, Commissioner.
Also for the architect, if you would. As far as the acoustics, it was surprising to see that sure get the directions right, on the east, where the residents are farther away, that was actually the highest levels that were reaching the residences.
On the east side.
Or is that, is that the right?
So
Is that the west side?
let me just get back to the site plan. So north is to the left, so east would be facing down, and then west is to the top.
Okay. All right. In any case, the fully enclosed side is the one facing
West.
across the golf course.
That's correct, yeah.
So I assume that that's why that's actually attenuated considerably, whereas going across the other way, less so.
Yes, so the west side has closest proximity to residences. On the east side, there's the parking lot, there's the creek, there's Rossmore Parkway before there's any houses, and the distance is much larger than the distance on the west side.
And what specific acoustic treatments did you use inside the structure?
So we are planning to do acoustic blankets inside the structure, but the acoustic study did not account for those. So we expect better performance than what the study shows.
Where would those occur?
I can show you on the rendering here. So the idea is that they're going to occur basically on all the gray solid walls that you're seeing there are intended to be acoustic blanket.
Okay. The other question I have regards the design review request that more wood be used on the facade. And the response to that was that the wood that's there matches what's on the clubhouse. It didn't really address putting more there. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So one of the things we were trying to achieve is really to highlight the main entry, and we wanted to use the wood. We do need to create or allow for enough air passage on either side, since we are enclosing the west wall and mostly enclosing the south wall. So if we did more wood, it would create eddies potentially from wind going into the structure and swirling around, and we were trying to prevent that, so we kept it as open as we could.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner.
So I had one question related to noise, and I think it is related to the hours of operation. So what are the hours of operation of this facility?
So in relation to the sound study, the hours of operation will be till 6, so 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay. No more, one more question. Okay.
Did this noise study also include the dampening of the trees and the shrubs? Because that does have an effect on the acoustics.
Yeah, the noise study, the trees on the west side were added as a planning comment, so the noise study did not include those, so we will get better performance with
Right.
those trees. The trees that you see on the screen on the east side, those were anticipated, I believe, for the noise study.
Because typically trees with anything that has a bigger vine helps to dampen the noise even more. And I'm assuming specifically with the heights that you were discussing with the retaining wall, with the acoustical wall, it happens to be at the same height as those trees at growth. And so it's almost acting like it's the same acoustic type
Right.
wall. Another thing that I'm assuming that typically when you do a project like this, an acoustical study, which is required as part of CEQA, they would tell you need STC windows, for example, right? Sound transmission class windows. So that's a type of mitigation measure. What I like about here is that you're including all of those measures as project features already in the building. And so this analysis is analyzing it with all those project features already included in the design,
Yes.
notwithstanding the trees that we just discussed and then the additional acoustic blanket on the inside of the walls,
That's
correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Other final questions? Okay, we are now going to open it up to the rest of you guys. I have speaker cards, and in order to help us get done before midnight, I'm going to call 3 people up first to come up to line up, and you'll be given 2 minutes each. So our first person will be Mary Rose, Mary Ramos, and Danielle Green, if you make your way up. Go ahead. Mary, I assume.
Good evening. Thanks for having all of us. We really appreciate it. The general plan has not been fully complied with. You have a general plan ordinance that states, Section 5, protection of Rossmore open space. The open space areas in Rossmore, as identified in Exhibit A, ordinance number 139, states, unless first approved by the majority vote of the eligible voters of Rossmore, and ordinance number 1319, and the development permit, blah, blah, blah. So that is part of the general plan and has not been complied with, nor was it in the staff report. So I couldn't understand why we weren't offered the vote. In addition, there is a general plan map that the city engineer changed unilaterally, without a public hearing, without the Planning Commission approval, a map that he recorded with the county changing the boundary lines of the open space. And I find that really offensive. Nobody got a chance in the public hearing to talk, nor did the Planning Commission get to ask questions or approval. In addition, there is law number that I spoke about earlier, 1483A, has required parking calculations. There's no shared parking agreement. It is required parking calculations per this law. And I gave you all a packet with everything. That law has been totally ignored, and I'm really sad about that. Very sad. So I'm asking you to be our gatekeepers and respectfully ask you to have the staff look into why these laws weren't applied, amend the staff report, and come back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe get our lights back on. I think somebody leaned against them again. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Mary Ramus. If you take a tour of Rossmore, you'll see a well-maintained, and a lot of, all of our facilities are updated. The only one that isn't is pickleball. So I have the question, how important is pickleball to the Rossmore community? For weeks, I've seen an ad for Valencia Senior Communities in Florida attempting to lure Californians. This ad is run in our area. The ad mentions their updated clubhouses, numerous clubs, shows a woman using free weights, couples dining and socializing, as you see a panoramic view of their facilities. Then the ad shows people playing pickleball. And the commentator states, "We have pickleball." Pickleball is the only sport or club specifically named in that ad. Rossmore needs to attract vibrant social people, and with pickleball growing faster than any other sport, we need a modern pickleball facility. Active people will support Walnut Creek's restaurants, theaters, and shopping. For me, the benefits of pickleball have changed my life. Who would have thought that a woman in her 70s would find a new sport that has enhanced her life with joy, joy, joy? I have found a fun-loving group of friends who share friendly competition, complimenting good shots, empathizing over bad shots, but mostly laughing and enjoying the camaraderie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Darila Green, and I'm one of the people who live across from the proposed facility. And I would ask you to consider that there are a lot of discrepancies, unfortunately, between the enthusiasm of the pickleball players and what's actually in the written proposal. And one, I would like to thank you for asking what are the hours of use, because in the written proposal, it states specifically that the facility will be open from 8 a.m. till dusk. And I would hate to see that approved in writing when that's not what anybody in Rossmore has been told. There are other kinds of discrepancies as well between what's written and what's there. So my friends who are pickleball players, when I have them sit out on my patio with me, I say, would you still be so enthusiastic if you lived in our beautiful home and celebrated the natural beauty on our patio? And they looked down where the building's going to be built, and they said, no way. I said, would you still support it being built there? They went, no, not anymore. Even though the summary described by the architect and our GRF representative say that the noise requirements have all been met. If you read carefully further along and follow all those decibel reports and all the different specifics in the proposal, you'll see that they end up saying The impulsive character of the noise could remain audible and may still be a source of annoyance to sensitive individuals. Like me, I'm older, I'm sensitive. We all are. And there was no correction.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll call it next, okay. We realize that everybody's enthusiastic, either pro or against, so please refrain from applauding, or else we'll be here till 3 o'clock in the morning. So, our next up will be Harold Kirschlin, William Ballin, and Katie Fox.
My name is Harold Cushins, and my wife and I have lived in Rossmore for the past 10 years, a community we call Adult Disneyland. For the past 8 years, we've both been playing pickleball on an average of 4 to 6 days a week, our bodies permitting. Research about aging is clear. Regular exercise and social interaction are the key ingredients to a healthy life, both physically and emotionally. Pickleball has become for us and for another 600-plus residents in Rossmore one of the primary vehicles for meeting those physical and social goals. Obviously, pickleball requires physical activity, but in a way that allows each individual to determine the pace and level of activity according to their own individual need. While resting between games or waiting to play, pickleball also provides a great opportunity for social interaction. Talking to one another is the norm, while isolating yourself on your phone is the exception. In addition, the Pickleball Club has social events throughout the year, which my wife and I and many others participate in. Further, the friendships we have started at the courts in many cases have evolved into valuable social and supportive relationships. It also should be noted that these new facilities will directly benefit Walnut Creek pickleball players outside of Rossmore in at least 2 ways. First, some Rossmore players who are forced to go to Rudger or Tice Gym to play will be able to return home, thus reducing the demand at these locations, which I know is an issue for the city of Walnut Creek. Second, with more courts at Rossmore, there'll be more time when these courts will be available to guests of residents, Rossmore residents, again reducing the demand on outside facilities. Thank you for your attention, and I encourage you to approve this quickly as possible, since any delay will only increase the already high costs.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for hearing us. My name is William Balin. I would live south of the project. I can tell you that we hear music that is played in the courtyard in the Gateway Center, which is farther away than this, because there's nothing on that valley, because it's all golf course. And I attend the fitness center. I can tell you that the pickleball sounds come through the doors and the glass that separate the gym from the rest of the fitness center, even when people are using machines there. Two, another problem is parking. No additional parking spaces are being provided. This is going to make it more difficult for people with mobility issues to find parking spaces. Second of all, when there's an event going on in the event center, the article in the Rossmore News said, we will manage parking. What does that mean? It means that people are going to be trolling for spaces. There's going to be more traffic. Third of all, this brings me to traffic. When during the day, the only access to the golf course is, in both golf courses, is Stanley Dollar. Also, the only access to the event center and the pickleball court will be through Stanley Dollar. You will have more traffic. My experience watching pickleball players is that most games are played with 4 people. You have 6 courts, 24 people. You will have people waiting. That's anywhere from 15 to 25 or more additional vehicles at any time in that area. Stanley Dollar is a 2-lane street. What is happening? How is that traffic going to affect the community? There are no additional restrooms, and last, no other facilities that are currently used for pickleball will be available for other uses.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Katie Fox. As a Rossmore resident, I'm invested in making sure that Rossmore remains a vital and thriving community that can continue to attract new residents. I moved to Rossmore from Oakland in January 2024, primarily because our real estate agent told us that Rossmore was going to be building a pickleball facility soon. I would not have selected Rossmore otherwise. There's been an increase in the number of age 55+ senior living communities in California and in other states, as mentioned earlier, and most of these communities offer superior pickleball facilities to what Rossmore currently offers. Most prospective buyers these days are pickleball players, and having designated courts is a selling point. I personally have given tours of Rossmore to friends who are searching and researching out communities, senior communities, and they've all been disappointed by the poor condition of our current courts. None of them have been willing to commit to Rossmore without confirmation that new courts are actually going to be built. I even know someone who selected Laguna Woods Village in Southern California instead of Rossmore precisely because that community already has superior pickleball facilities. Now, I've heard the complaints that Rossmore, a community of some 10,000 residents, should not build new courts since only about 650 folks are in the current pickleball club. I think that's short-sighted. The courts are not just for current residents, they are for all future residents to enjoy. If Rossmore wants to be competitive in today's marketplace, they are going to have to build new pickleball courts now. Rossmore residents are Walnut Creek taxpayers. They are consumers at Walnut Creek retail stores, at Walnut Creek restaurants, and other entertainment locations like the Lesher. It's in all of our best interests to make Rossmore current and allow it to become competitive in the current marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you. The next three will be Lou Lynn De Silva, and I'm going to have to apologize for probably butchering a name. Kaylina Kimitu and Roy Gang.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Lulin De Silva, and I live at 3150 Rossmore Parkway, number 4. Contrary to popular belief, as evidenced by the turnout tonight, Rossmore residents are awake past 6 p.m. after the early bird special. I come before you this evening as a pickleball player, a former manager of a permitting, land, and environmental planning department at a major Bay Area corporation, and also as a former planning commissioner. I'd like to emphasize 4 land use and environmental points about GRF's application. 1, the proposed site has been deemed most suitable for a variety of land use and environmental considerations, such as topography, parking availability, minimal vegetation impacts, no endangered species, and appropriate land use and zoning designations. It is also consistent with recreation policies of the general plan. 2, regarding visual impacts, the city's PUD designation allows for, quote, diversification in the relationship of various buildings, land uses, structures, and open spaces. The project area houses the historic Stanley Dollar Clubhouse with an accessory recreation use, and the Modern Events Center. GRF's application demonstrates that efforts have been made to harmonize the proposed pickleball facility with design elements of the event center for compatibility. Number 3, GRF has taken great care in making design accommodations regarding sound. The 2024 sound assessment concluded that, quote, pickleball noise would not be considered an impact at residences. 4, city staff has recommended a CEQA categorical exemption, class 32. CEQA states that a categorical exemption may be applied for a proposed project because it is not expected to significantly impact the environment. This exemption is appropriate for this project. I'd like to compliment the city staff on their detailed and thorough staff report. I'd also like to thank you for your public service to the city. Finally, I urge you to vote yes to approve the resolution as presented by staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good Good evening. My name is Kailani Komodo, and I'm a full-time realtor serving the Rossmore community for many, many years. In that time, I've helped a lot of buyers to find their perfect home here. I've also proudly sponsored the Pickleball Parkinson's, witnessing firsthand that that sport brings people together and improves lives. We all know here that amenities drive home values and buyer interest. Pickleball is the nation's fastest growing sport and is a key selling point for active adult communities like Rossmore. New well-designed courts will make Rossmore even more attractive to buyers and positively impact the property values. But pickleball is more than just real estate. It plays a vital role in the senior health, improving balance, heart health, and mobility, while keeping residents active, socially connected, and independent. A thriving pickleball community helps new residents integrate, build friendships, and stay engaged. The benefits go beyond Rossmore as well. A thriving, well-maintained community contributes to higher property values, generating increased property tax revenues. Additionally, all the local businesses here will have benefits from the residents and the visiting players supporting the restaurants, shops, and services in Walnut Creek. A high-quality pickleball facility enhances Rossmore's appeal, keeping it competitive with other premier active adult communities that are on the rise. Pickleball isn't just a sport. It's a community builder that enhances quality life, home values, and overall desirable for Rossmore. And as I end this, I encourage you to support this investment in Rossmore's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have copies for everyone?
My name is Roy Young. I'm a resident of Rossmore. In this meeting, the most impressive thing I have is Planner Molly made it very clear, is there any conflict of interest? Unfortunately, we never happened at Rossmore. First of all, Rossmore's pickleball player right now is 551, or 5.89% of the population residents, and 94.1 are not pickleball players. And because the influence from the pickleball player on the budget, so our budget from 1.8 in 22 increased to 2.8 in 23, then increased to 3.8 in 24. Now it's 4 point. It's still going to grow because a low estimate. And the most problem important to us is our southwest neighborhood. It's called Morocco. Morocco is two high-risk wildfire area in California. The other one is the Pacific Plaza, already burned in January. And we have an exit, which was just pea gravel on it, and no auto allowed to drive on. So all the older people has to walk on. And that's a very simple, overlooked safety issue. And then we have two cameras watching the fire. Was sponsored by PG&E, but those are the first generation. Now we have the third generation, infrared and AI and with satellite coordinations. We should have replaced those and add one more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next three will be Julie Foley, Scott Burrell, and Danny Wong.
Judy Foley, and I've been.
Could you pull the microphone down so you could?
I've been living in Rossmore for over 29 years. I am here to support asking the city to deny building the $4 million plus pickleball structure in Rossmore. I support Mr. Yang's alternative use of the funds. As a retired nurse serving this community for 25 years, I am more concerned about the safety issues that are being deferred and the fact that the fastest growing group admitted to emergency departments across the country are senior citizens for pickleball injuries. The myth is if you build it, they will come Well, if we build it, they will be in the hospital. The population right now, the mean population is 80 and above. And there's 94% of 0.5% are over 65. We are a senior population, and it's not a safe thing to have it right now. Besides, the economics don't, there are too many things that we need to get completed before you consider taking out money for the pickleball, which won't be 4 million, it will be more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, more.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Scott Burrell. I'm a resident of Rossmore. And I wanted to just take a little bit of your time to talk to you about why I think the Rossmore Pickleball Club is so special. And when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about the friendships that I've been able to make playing pickleball with the members of the club, the dinners, the game nights. But really, when I thought about what makes this club so special to me, so magical to me, my mind went to the city of Concord, actually, and a middle school in Concord called El Dorado Middle School. And the volunteers from Rossmore, who last year, and we'll be doing it again this year, went every week, early in the morning, to El Dorado Middle School. Teach those kids, some of whom had special needs, some of whom were deaf, some of whom were a handful, all of whom were wonderful. And the volunteers from Rossmore's Pickleball Club went in the early morning hours and put up nets and gave those kids time and attention and gave them basically love. And they received so much back in return. And to me, when you think about this, I think it is important for you to know what this club stands for and who the people in this club are and what they contribute. And I think that you will find that this is an amazing group of people and an amazing club. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioner. I'm Danny Wong. I'm actually partner with Scott Burrell. And well, I just want to say that pickleball saved my life. It sounds dramatic, I know it does, but you know, it's not, because I grew up being very active, playing sports, playing volleyball very young, playing tennis, and I got injured. And after I got injured, I was so depressed because I couldn't do anything. So your active life lost, and you just like feel like you're just being there. And I know other people like myself that pickleball, they told me the same thing, that pickleball saved their life, because they, in Rossmore, our community have a lot of people that have been with their spouse for a long, long time, some 50 years, 60 years. They lost their loved one. So they feel this void, just like I felt a void. But after we found pickleball, it's like what he just said. We belong to a community outreach committee where we go out and help foster youth homes to learn pickleball. And we see the joy that we could bring to them to help them. And we go to the disadvantaged school to help those youth. So I'm really here to really urge you and please approve this facility so that pickleball can continue to save lives, like many people, as well as the people that we can go out to the community and reach their lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next group will be Frank Reynolds, Carol Serrani, Nancy Mooson, and Dana Ing. I'm sorry, Ing. Go.
I just wanted to get my glasses on before the time started. My name is Frank Reynolds, and I live in Rossmore for the past 10 years. I am a past president of the club and have been a member since we broke away from the Walnut Creek Pickleball Club in 2014. I'm in here this evening just to give you a short overview on the efforts to find a permanent home for pickleball in Rossmore. When the club became residents only, our play was limited to 3 indoor courts at the fitness center, which were shared with other clubs and other training activity. Around the time the fitness center was renovated, the 2 tennis courts at the Creekside were turned into 3 temporary pickleball courts, the same courts we still play on today. The club now had 3 temporary courts at Creekside and 2 shared courts in the fitness center, since we lost 1 court in the fitness center during the renovation. Since the start of play at Creekside, the courts have been closed in 2016, 2017, and 2024 for repair work. In an effort to find a permanent home, a pickleball facilities committee was formed. The result was a 40-page document which was presented to the GRF board, I think in August of 2020. And the efforts were to find a permanent home. The following is a list, kind of in order of locations that have been looked at over the years. Creekside courts, Buckeye tennis courts, lawn bowling courts. Looked at briefly, we're working with the city to build courts outside the gate. The Dollar Park, the current site, and there was also several other areas given consideration. As you can see, this has not been an easy decision or a snap judgment. It's been years of work on the part of staff and the court.
Thank you.
Darn it.
My name is Carol Serrani, and I am currently the president of the Rossmore Pickleball Club. These are my people. This is our community, and we're very pleased to come before you and ask for you to please give us the go-ahead on this. Some of us are worried we're not going to make it until the new courts come in. So I had this whole speech. Everybody's already covered it. I don't want to bore you. What I do want to say is that I do receive inquiries very often about when are these facilities going to be built. People will not come until it is, because they have other choices. And this affects all of us, not just Rossmore, but Walnut Creek as well. So I'm hoping that they will move to this retirement community of ours and also enjoy all of the community service that we actually stand for in our club. We have pickleball for Parkinson's, I'm sure Nancy's going to talk about, but also we do, gosh, why am I blanking on this? Food bank, Habitat for Humanity. We teach at junior highs. We've written grants to give them nets and balls and paddles. We do so much more than just play pickleball. We do have a great community. There is a lot here to bring people in. But with this facility, this will be a sought-after destination for retirees because there is so much to offer. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. Attracting pickleballers to our community is a plus. They are doers, they are givers, they will give you anything they can. They are volunteers at heart and take part in the many community service platforms we provide as a club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Go.
Can we?
Yes.
Can we start it?
Yes.
I was,
Go.
Can we start all over? Okay. Good evening.
My name is Nancy Munson. I'm a resident of Rossmore. 11 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. As his caregiver, I have firsthand experience how debilitating this disease is and how much my husband's quality of life continues to decline. 3 years ago, I decided I needed to do more to help those affected with Parkinson's. Since I love the game of pickleball, I decided to create a pickleball tournament as a fundraiser for the Michael J. Fox Foundation in their efforts to find a cure for this devastating disease. Our first Rossmore Pickleball for Parkinson's tournament was in 2023. On a hopeful goal of raising $15,000, we raised $56,000. Last year, we exceeded our goal again and made $82,000. My vision for this year and the future is to continue to expand such that we become the most successful and recognized pickleball fundraiser in the state of California. Unfortunately, as our current courts stand, we are limited to the number of players that can participate. In order to expand and continue to grow, we desperately need more courts where we can invite persons of importance to observe and play, along with being able to draw more pickleball players from the Walnut Creek area. This is why the new facility of Rossmore is so important. I ask that you please help our fundraiser, Pickleball for Parkinson's, reach this dream, which most importantly will help those suffering with Parkinson's, but will also bring prominence to
Thank you.
Rossmore and Walnut Creek. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dana Ng, and I'm a newcomer to Rossmore. However, I was a commissioner for the California State Historical and Recreation Commission. I have to say I understand the need for quality recreation. I also applaud the exhaustive research that has gone in to consider all the needs of Rossmore residents, and I understand their question about noise and the quality of their lives. However, I need to shine a light on what this club is all about and what the people is all about. I don't necessarily consider it a club necessarily, but the actual quality of the people that actually are involved. We have dedicated coaches, mentors who teach pickleball from all novices 4 or 5 days a week, for intermediates, for advanced players. It's an amazing amount of volunteerism and spirit that drives this. They have fundraisers for Rossmore residents who have needs, special needs. They have fundraisers for schools, for other charitable organizations. It's not a selfish organization or club. It's one that gives back as much as they receive, and they share it with all. There wouldn't be as many people enjoying it on the courts if it wasn't for the fact that all these volunteers here donate their time to get out there at 8 o'clock in the morning, to do it several times a week, and constant. It's just an amazing organization. So I say this is not a selfish ask. This is fulfilling a need that we have. 3 courts and 2 shared indoor courts for 600 plus members. I think there's a need there, and I ask you for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. I am now out of speaker cards. Is there somebody else that has not spoken before that would like to come forward and talk?
I'm Joe Hayner, and I live along Tice Creek Drive, directly southwest of where this facility will be built. You know, we're all seniors who purchased our homes for the peace and serenity Rossmore offers. And excuse my good allergies. Our homes along the golf course are like an amphitheater. We can hear people's voices when they're in the parking lot across the golf course from us. We can hear the existing 3 pickleball courts, which are almost a half-mile away from us. Everyone is aware of the problem created by pickleball courts all over the country. Now is the time, during the design phase, to do everything possible to ensure the pickleball facility is a good neighbor. The sound study only addressed excessive sound, not the constant, repetitive sound that would drone on every day for the neighbors, making our patios and porches unusable and our property values decline. The sound study consultant stated that quiet paddles and quiet foam balls would minimize sound impacts. According to the USA Pickleball Association, quiet foam balls can reduce noise by 75%. The USAPA now has a new category of approved quiet products. There are several YouTube videos which illustrate the quieter, newer generation of foam ball. In one video, a Gamma Librarian ball is shown to have the almost identical weight and bounce of a plastic pickleball. The Design Review Commission suggested the use of quiet balls and paddles. We ask that you incorporate this in your final document. We ask that you specify foam balls. That is the only quiet ball on the market. The pickleball club is resistant to the foam ball, but in a short time, they would get used to it. It's just the sound that's used to it that they would adjust to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Leslie Winslow. I live at 2748 Tice Creek, and I'm directly across of the 18th hole from this building that they'd be building, and I would be looking directly at it and hearing all of it. So I'm just asking if, because I wasn't here when they were designing this, if they could maybe design an enclosed building so that it would be quieter instead of a semi-open building, or in the very minimum, use the quieter balls. I don't know, because I will hear everything that goes on, because I hear the golf course, I hear, you know, the people in the parking lot, I hear all of it, so I don't know that it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a pleasant experience for me, let me put it that way. So, and my neighbors, who, because we're all right there, directly across, and would look right at it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this topic? One more.
Hi there, my name's Steve Welty. I'm a member of Rossmore through my mother passing away over COVID, and we own the property there. And I've become a recent pickleball player. I'm a little nervous, excuse me. I didn't think I was going to do this. But, you know, in listening to everyone here, and I really appreciate everyone's opinions, but the exhaustive nature that this community, Rossmore, the Golden Rain Foundation, I don't know these guys, but they've clearly done so much work to make sure that they can satisfy as much of the concerns that everyone has had in building this. You know, the one thing that occurred to me through this whole thing is, you know, rarely are there benchmarks that come along where something can really change your life. And I'm sure all of you know and are old enough to remember what the phone was like before the iPhone and before the electric car came about. And I know it might sound silly, but pickleball is one of those things that, frankly, if you haven't played, you just don't know. You just have no idea. And if you have played, then you do know. And rarely does something come along where all these people that have gotten up here and spoken and have echoed the social impact, the camaraderie that gets developed, the volunteerism. It's insane what these people will do for nothing, for love, basically, to help others. When else in life can you, when you're 55 plus, go find something that you can do that literally studies have been done that show that it extends your life? As much as I appreciate the woman that says it may not be safe, it's safe enough and I'll take the risk. So I just want you to consider that seriously. How often does something come along where it can be so impactful for so many people who could really choose to do?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the last call. One more, okay.
Raj Gidwani is my name. I live in Rossmore, obviously. Now, in case you haven't noticed, I'm Indian. I came to the U.S. at the ripe young age of 53, 2003. And came to San Diego. Then, because the kids were here, we moved up to the Bay Area. And we were in Dublin, California. And looking for a place, and then somebody, my son's friends' parents live in Rossmore, so he told us about Rossmore. So we had a look, and he said, moving with old people? Because I didn't look in the mirror then. And we came up, we bought the place, and we were a little apprehensive at the time. Said, old people? And jokingly, when my friends asked me, where do you live, in an old person's place? I said, yeah, everybody there is between 60 and dead in Rossmore. And me and my wife, literally, we thought we were the youngsters there when we moved in. But it started growing on us. Within a couple of months, we started to like the place. I used to play a lot of tennis back in India, but I couldn't play anymore. So I heard about pickleball, and I said, what the hell is that? And then I found, when I tried it, that it is probably the easiest racket game that you can play. You can literally go with a paddle and start playing on day one. And that game has given me more pleasure than most other things I've done in my life. Pickleball, ukulele club, line dancing. Those are the three things that I do. And from India, imagine.
How come I didn't go off?
So,
thank you. Thank you. The applause drowned out.
I'm from India, sorry.
Okay, anyone else? Last chance. Okay, I am going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for comments and possibly a motion or two. Mr. Anderson.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I've been to a lot of meetings with, full rooms like this, and it's rare. I don't know if you know how rare to have, two sides of an issue, people passionate about it, and to have an actual civil discourse that is civil. This has been really nice to me. I've also learned some things, which is also nice. One of the handouts that was given was about demographics at Rossmore, and I learned that my life expectancy and my age are the same. Sobering thought. If I'm going to play any pickleball, I have to start soon. I did a couple of questions, though. First of all, I'd like to ask if staff has any comments on our very first speaker, if you remember, was talking about an ordinance that she said was not fulfilled or complied with. If you have a comment on that.
Yes. Bring up, I got it.
Oh, okay. You're so talented.
I think she addressed 4 points, so I'm not going to go in. Sorry. She addressed 4 points. I am not going to go in that order because that was a long time ago. 1 second. Let me get to it. The first, or one of the first points she mentioned was the parking. The zoning in Rossmore doesn't address parking for accessory uses. It addresses parking for the residential areas, and it addresses parking for a public assembly. So then we have to look at the parking that's in our current parking ordinance. And the language in our parking ordinance says, parking for accessory uses are determined by the city's transportation administrator. The city's transportation administrator determined that the site didn't need additional parking stalls, and all they needed was to submit was a shared parking agreement, which is, I think, attachment A of your packet. The other part, she brought up Appendix B in the general plan regarding the voting or the votes. So it states, open space areas shall not be used for any purpose other than those specified in Condition 3, which I'll get to in a second, of said ordinance as enacted in 1977 unless first approved by the majority vote of the eligible voters of Rossmore. So let's go to Section 3, or Condition 3. Condition 3 states all areas designated as open space. Now remember, the land use where this pickleball court is going to be located is on the clubhouse areas, not the open space areas. But it goes on to say, the open space may also be used for additional clubhouse facilities. Necessary appurtenances such as master television antennas and so forth. The siting of these facilities and appurtenances shall be subject to the approval of the Planning Commission, which is before you tonight. Her other point was the lot line adjustment, and that was done. That is a ministerial permit, and actually I had the senior engineer for Public Works is here. I'd like to call him up so he can comment on the lot line adjustment. It's right here. This is the lot line adjustment right here that was done. The reason it was done is because when they first submitted, the pickleball facility was designed across lot lines.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ryan Cook, Senior Engineer with the city. So very briefly, as relates to the lot line adjustment, the Subdivision Map Act makes it a ministerial process as it's just moving a lot line between two properties. So it's not subject to discretionary review. And since the proposed pickleball court was located, or originally proposed to be located on the property line, they had to do a lot line adjustment for that. And so per the city's requirements and the application process they submitted, it was reviewed by our surveyor for technical accuracy, and the city engineer issued a certificate of compliance stating that it was accurate in terms of what they proposed, and so it was therefore recorded.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think those were all of our comments.
Let me just, while I have you there,
Sure.
you touched on parking. I assume that the analysis that was done was based on there being sufficient parking for both uses, the event center and the pickleball facility, that the parking would satisfy
Yes.
the needs of both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And just an additional slide. Oops, sorry. So this is the definition of an accessory use in Walnut Creek, a use that is subordinate and incidental to the main use of the site and which is located on the same site as the main use. The event center is a clubhouse use. That was built and approved by the Design Review Commission in 2007 as part of I think they called it the Creekside Complex project. It was a clubhouse use. The actual table tennis building that was also went to the Design Review Commission in 2011 was an accessory use. So we are being consistent with the existing zoning and how we've treated accessory uses or clubhouse uses at Rossmore.
Thank you. I had another question for the applicant. I would like to respond. Some of the correspondence and some of the speakers mentioned.
So, Commissioner Anderson, sorry, I recommend that Chair Strongman reopen the public hearing since you have a question for the applicant.
Okay.
Oh, so we're going to have to reopen the public hearing. For the applicant, please come forward and answer the question.
Sorry about that. I just, some of the correspondence in the last few speakers mentioned foam balls and foam paddles. what is the, I mean, it sounds like a nice solution for the noise issue. Why not?
Why not? You don't want to change the nature of a game, of a sport. It would be like playing golf with a wiffle ball instead of with a golf ball. You don't want to change what you're doing to accommodate that. We believe that the solutions that we've come up with fully address the sound by adding the wall on the west side, on the south side, so that the sport can continue on with the equipment that it's supposed to be played with.
Thank you.
I actually have another question for the applicant. The design review recommendation was that an acoustic study be done before and after the pickleball courts are built to validate the use of sound panels and implement any necessary measures. And I didn't see a plan for a follow-up sound study. So what's the thinking on that?
So at this point, we don't have a plan for a follow-up study. We believe that what we have implemented and part of the design addresses everything in the recommendations of the study. Should there be complaints afterwards from the neighborhoods, we would want to address those individually with those concerned citizens.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, since we are public hearing has been reopened. If you have not spoken before, you're welcome to come up and talk now. Seeing none, I am going to close the public hearing. Thank you. And bring it back to the commission for comments and possibly a motion. Commissioner Ward.
I'd like to make a motion to approve design review, tree removal, and tree drip line encroachment permits, application number Y23.
Commissioner Ward, sorry to interrupt, but we also need to adopt the CEQA exemption first.
Okay.
So if your motion to adopt the resolution, you would achieve that. So your motion should be to adopt the resolution that's in the packet.
Does attachment 1 contain both of those things?
Yeah, it does cover that.
So all I need to do is make a motion to approve attachment 1.
Adopt the resolution, correct?
Okay, thank you. All right, so continuing on, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution that's in attachment 1 for design review, tree removal, and tree drip line encroachment permits, application number Y23-053-021 Stanley Dollar Drive, the pickleball resolution. That's my motion, as drafted.
Could I ask to amend that small point to clarify that the closing time is 6 p.m. The dusk?
It's in there.
Okay, sure, I'll.
Go.
Okay,
Friendly.
as amended.
A second.
Okay.
Okay, will the secretary please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Kwok?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp?
Yes.
Commissioner Neating?
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson?
Yes.
And Chair Strongman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay. Should we take about a 5-minute break?
Sure.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. So, starting now. Okay, we're back on the record for the Walnut Creek Planning Commission. And we're going down to commission considerations, which is the election of the chair and vice chair. Do we have a nomination for chair? Commissioner Ward.
I'd like to nominate Brant Anderson as chair of the commission.
Second?
Will the secretary please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Kwok?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp?
Yes.
Commissioner Neeting?
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson?
Sure, yes.
And Chair Strongman?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move this right on over to. And you're now in charge.
I believe the next order of business is to elect a vice chair. And open to suggestions. Motion.
I'd like to nominate Pamela Needing as vice chair, please.
I'll second.
Oh, there. You take it.
All right. If there's no further discussion, well, nominations, call the roll.
Okay. Commissioner Kwok?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp?
Yes.
Commissioner Neeting?
Yes.
Chair Anderson?
Yes.
And
Commissioner Strongman.
Commissioner Strongman?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right. I don't have the agenda up here, but I think the next thing is, thank you. Oh, yes. Staff reports or commission reports. Anything from staff?
We don't have any announcements this week. Thank you.
Anyone?
And
Commissioner Ward.
I just wanted to thank former Chair Strongman for his excellent service in the past year, leading our unruly band, and I think you did a great job, and I really appreciate the extra effort it takes to be chair of the commission. So thank you very much for your efforts over the past year.
On that score, I'd like to add that I appreciate your excellent attendance. So I had very little training. Tonight.
And I'd like to add, it's been a pleasure serving.
Very good. Any other announcements? If not, I believe the next item is adjournment. If so, no objection, I'll adjourn. Thank you. All right.
Nicely done, everyone.